Good afternoon, everyone. We are from the ICT Mindanao Cluster 1, recognized globally as champion at World Summit on Information Society prizes for 2 consecutive years, 2020 and 2021, for our e-employment and capacity building projects. I am Wendy, your host for this event, and on behalf of our Regional Director, Director Maria Teresa Camba, and the entire DICT, muchísimas gracias for joining us. Welcome to live webinar on cybersecurity, protection, and its loss via Zoom communications. And also we are live on YouTube. Joining with us are a total of 1,000 participants. And to formally begin, let us have a short prayer.
He is exalted, the King is exalted and high. I will praise Him. He is exalted, forever exalted, and I will praise His name. He is the Lord, forever His truth shall reign. Heaven and earth rejoice in His holy name. He is exalted, the King is exalted on high.
All right, so once again, good afternoon. So just few reminders for our virtual etiquette. Always keep your mic on mute. Interact with us through the chat box or when there are online tools. Don't forget to have a bottle or glass of water with you. Hydrate every now and then. For our activities, we'll be having Mentimeter or Quizzes or Kahoot, Q&A after every session, and raffle draw, 3 daily winners of 100 peso load cards. Abangan po natin yan. So for our attendance for this webinar is being captured, automatically captured and recorded by Zoom application. And for the issuance of certificates, participants must attend 100% of the webinar sessions. Participants must accomplish the daily evaluation form after every session and pass the post-evaluation at the end of the 6-hour session. An e-certificate of participation will be issued to all participants who will be able to comply with the training requirements, and evaluation link will be provided after every session. So for the duration and schedule of our webinar, so we started yesterday at 1 p.m. So this is the last day of our training. And so until 1 to 4 p.m. So we'll be discussing or talking about cybercrime during the pandemic. Ayan, so at this point, ready na ba tayo makinig sa ating speaker? Please type 1. Ayan. Ayun. So ready na sila. I know you're ready and excited. So hindi na natin patatagalin. Allow me to introduce our speaker. He is a graduate of BS Computer Science, a certified computer and mobile forensic examiner, also the former municipal councilor of Anda, Pangasinan 2010 to 2013, and also the State Council of Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime. So let us all listen to Attorney Gerald Vincent Sosa. Good afternoon, Attorney. Take it away po.
Hi, Miss Wendy. Thank you for that introduction. Malinaw ba yung audio ko?
Yes po, sir. Loud and clear po.
Clear naman, okay. I-share screen ko na yung presentation ko.
Go ahead, sir.
Nag-appear naman yung presentation ko. Ayun, okay pala.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, and Miss Wendy, is it okay if I turn off my video during my presentation? Kasi naka-mobile data lang ako kasi nag-down yung PLDT namin. So medyo intermittent yung ko. So baka bumigay pag naka-on yung video. Same sa presentation.
Sure, sir. Go ahead po.
Okay, thank you.
Okay po.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm State Counsel Gerald Vincent Sosa, GV for short. I'm from the Department of Justice, Office of Cybercrime. And it is my pleasure to be with you here today and be able to discuss cybercrime prevention, Republic Act number 10175. So here is the outline of my presentation. First, I'm going to tackle the history and the legal framework of cybercrime in the Philippines. Then we will go to the practical features of Republic Act 10175. Then be followed by what is the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on cybercrimes here in the Philippines. Then didiscuss natin kung ano yung mga cybercrime trends ngayong masalo ng yung pandemic. And of course, what are the government responses to address these trends? And after nun, I will discuss yung dalawang public advisory na in-issue ng Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime, yung public advisory on online lending companies and phishing. And then I'll be giving tips for a safer online experience. And last but not the least, I will show you kung saan kayo magko-complain once you are or if you are victimized by cybercriminals. So now, first let's go to the history and legal framework of cybercrime here in the Philippines. Quick question lang sa mga listener natin dito sa Zoom. Familiar ba kayo kung ano yung naka-flash sa screen? Kindly put it sa chat box. Yes, tama po kayo. Ito po yung I love you virus. So to start my presentation, we must all know that any discussion of the cybercrime in the Philippines has reference to the I love you virus. O minsan tinatawag natin itong yung love bug. This virus placed the Philippines on the global cybercrime map. This virus was created in year 2000 by a student of AMA Computer College. Kung familiar kayo, si Mr. Onel de Guzman. This virus created an estimated $15 billion of damages worldwide. Itong virus na to, nahuli yung creator niya. However, na-release din siya because after being caught, wala pa tayong batas nung time na yun against malware. So, kailangan siyang pakawalan kasi hindi pa nga criminal act yung pag-create ng virus during that time. So dahil nga doon, nagpasa ang ating Congress ng batas laban sa cybercrime. So in year 2000, the Congress passed the first domestic legislation that touched on cybercrime. And that is yung tinatawag nating Electronic Commerce Act or Republic Act number 8792. A year after, kasi wala pang rules na nag-govern sa prosecution ng mga violation ng Electronic Commerce Act, the Supreme Court promulgated the rules on electronic evidence in order to complement the Electronic Commerce Act and to assist the courts in applying the law. And due to the limitation of the Electronic Commerce Act, in year 2014, the Congress legislated the first comprehensive law on cybercrime, which is yung Republic Act number 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Itong batas na to ay basically patterned after the Budapest Convention. Then in 2018, the birth of the rule on cybercrime warrant, which fills in the gaps between RA 1175 and the rules of court, was promulgated by the Supreme Court. These laws will be further discussed on the next slides. So now we go to the first cybercrime law. Yun nga, due to the increasing number of cybercrimes and absence of law which punishes those acts, it pushed the Congress to pass the first domestic legislation that touched on cybercrime. And yun nga, katulad ng banggit ko kanina, that is Republic Act number 8792 or the Electronic Commerce Act of 2000. Under the said law, itong first cybercrime law sa Pilipinas, it punishes the crime of hacking and cracking. Basically, yung pinapunish niya na hacking and cracking, they are similar with the CIA offenses under RA 10175 or yung offenses against confidentiality, integrity, and availability of computer data and systems. So now we go to yung more comprehensive law regarding cybercrime, which is yung RA 1175. Yun nga, due to the limitation of the E-Commerce Act, in 2012, the Congress legislated the first comprehensive law on cybercrime o yung RA 1175 or Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. This law is basically patterned after the Budapest Convention, which is yung first international treaty which deals with the crimes committed against or by, through, and with the use of computer and computer data, or simply, yung mga crimes committed over the internet. Ngayon, nabanggit ko na yung ating mga local laws, yung RA 8792 and RA 1175. Now, let's go to the international law which deals with cybercrime. Ito yung yung tinatawag nating Budapest Convention on Cybercrime. Dito naka-pattern, katulad yung sinabi ko kanina, dito naka-pattern yung RA 1175. The Budapest Convention on Cybercrime is the first international treaty dealing with crimes committed against or by, through, and with the use of computer and computer data or those committed via the internet. In particular, yung convention na to, it aims to promote a common criminal policy among nations against cybercrime by harmonizing national laws, improving investigative techniques, and fostering international cooperation. It may be recalled that the Philippines, our country, acceded to the convention in December 2016, and which was subsequently concurred in by the Senate in February 2018. Thus, the convention entered into force in the Philippines on July 1, 2018. So now, let's go to the practical features of Republic Act number 1175. The Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, ito nga yung comprehensive law on cybercrime, it has three salient features. First, we have the substantive provisions, which provides for the offenses and the penalties under the said law. Then we have the procedural provisions. Ito yung ginagamit ng ating mga law enforcement agencies in the investigation and prosecution of the cybercrime cases. And last but not the least, we have the international cooperation provision. I will discuss to mga provisions na to separately sa mga susunod na slide. So first, we go to the substantive provision. But before going to the yung main discussion ng substantive provision, it may be recalled that in 2012, nung pagkapasa ng Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, maraming kaso ang pinasa or final against sa constitutionality ng Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. And in the case of Dicini versus Secretary of Justice with GR number 203335 dated February 11, 2014, there are certain provisions of the law or yung provision ng Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 which was declared by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional. So itong mga provision na to, hindi na sila applicable ngayon kasi unconstitutional sila as declared by the Supreme Court. First, we have yung section Section 4C3 o yung nagpapunish ng sending ng unsolicited commercial communications. And then another unconstitutional provision is yung aiding or abetting or attempt at the commission of cybercrime in relation to cyber libel and online child pornography. Also declared as unconstitutional ay yung Section 12, which is the real-time collection of traffic data. And of course, last but not the least, yung Section 19 or yung tinatawag din nating takedown provision ng Cybercrime Prevention Law, which is yung restricting or blocking access to computer data. So itong mga nabanggit kong section na to, hindi na sila operational dahil they are declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. So now let's go to the substantive provision. The substantive provisions provides for the criminalization of certain acts that will constitute a cybercrime. Under the Republic Act 10175, meron tayong three main categories of cybercrimes. First, yung tinatawag nating CIA offenses or yung offenses against confidentiality, integrity, and availability of computer data and system. Ito yung under Section 4A. Then, ito yung tinatawag nating ito yung cybercrime proper because these offenses, ang target nila or ang inaatake nila, they are committed against computer systems. So now let's go to the second category of cybercrime under Republic Act 10175, which is yung tinatawag nating computer-related offenses. Computer-related offenses because itong mga crimes na to ay nakukumit through the use of computer. Pero hindi nila inaatake yung computer. Kaya tinatawag sila computer-related offenses. And last but not the least, we have yung tinatawag nating content-related offenses. The Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 punishes these offenses because of their content. Kaya tinatawag siya na content-related offenses. The law, which is yung RA 10175 nga, it also reaffirms existing laws such as yung laws on child pornography and libel, which is didiscuss ko later. So now, I'm going to discuss yung offenses against confidentiality, integrity, and availability of computer data and systems. And under itong section na to, we have 6 punishable acts. First, we have illegal access, then illegal interception. Next is data interference. Then we have system interference, misuse of devices, and last but not the least, cyber squatting. So, i-discuss ko muna yung first offense sa CIA offenses, which is yung illegal access. Under this provision, the offender enters into the whole or any part of a computer system. So, pinasok niya yung computer system. And ang second element ng illegal access is that such access or entry is without right or not authorized. Nang without right, it means hindi lang without right to. Pag kunyari, sa una, may right ka to access the system, but you acted in excess of your authority, papasok pa rin siya ng illegal access. Enters and access, it means to instruct, communicate with, store data in, or retrieve data from. And yung computer system, it is a device or group of interconnected or related devices with data processing capabilities. To simplify things, itong illegal access, para sa common terms, dito pumapasok yung crime of hacking. So now, let's go to the second crime under the CIA offenses, which is yung tinatawag natin na illegal interception. Here, in illegal interception, ito yung mga elements ng crime na illegal interception. Dapat merong transmission of computer data to or from or within a computer system, including electronic magnetic emissions from a computer system carrying such data. Second, dapat yung transmission is not intended for the public. Third, the offender or the cyber criminal intercepts such non-public transmission by technical means. And last but not the least, such interception is without right or authority. So anong ibig sabihin ng explain natin yung ibang mga wordings dito sa elements ng illegal interception. First, nabanggit dito, non-public transmission. So ibig sabihin, dapat yung information, it is only intended for authorized recipients. For example, si person A, nag-send siya ng email kay person B. So yon, yung transmission ng message from person A to person B, it is a non-public transmission and it is only intended, yung information intended only for the recipient, which is person B. So another important word dito sa mga elements ng illegal interception is yung tinatawag nating technical means. Ano yung technical means? It is the use of electronic, mechanical, or digital devices or the use of technology. As compared sa, for example, sa mail. Before, nung wala pang technology before, papadala tayo sa post office. So, pag ginamitan mo technology, email na yun. So, merong technical means. So, ano ibig sabihin naman ng word na intercept? Intercept, it means to listen to, record, to monitor, or to conduct surveillance. So, masasabi natin itong illegal interception, somewhat similar siya sa wiretapping. Pero sa wiretapping kasi, ang tinatap doon yung conversation sa tawag. Ito naman, illegal interception, ang in-intercept dito yung data from one person to another. So, this provision aims to protect the right of privacy and of data communication. This provision also upholds the right of privacy of correspondence. So, yung violation nung provision na to, this represents the same violation of the privacy of communications. Katulad ng sabi ko, parang parang yung sa wiretapping, yung sa traditional communication. So, ito yung illustration ng illegal interception. Pag regular connection, for example, nagbabrowse ka ng isang website, pumunta kay Facebook. So from your computer, dapat direkta lang siya kay Facebook. Ngayon, pag nagkaroon ng illegal interception, nagbabrowse ka sa laptop mo or sa phone mo, then pupunta kay Facebook, yung data mo, hindi siya dumidiretso kay Facebook. Dumadaan siya sa interceptor. So pag nag-login ka kay Facebook, yung sa illegal interception, nakukuha niya yung credentials mo, yung login credentials mo, which is yung username and password mo. Also, possible din na pag nagbabrowse ka ng yung Facebook or yung sa email mo, another example ng illegal interception, pwede nilang malaman yung messages na pinapadala mo. Okay, now, so let's go to the third crime under the CIA offenses, which is yung tinatawag nating data interference. Here, in data interference, the offenders alters, damages, deletes, or causes the deterioration of computer data, electronic document, or electronic data messages, including the introduction or transmission of virus. Ang second element niya, katulad ito common element to sa halos lahat ng provision ng cybercrime law, yung act was done without right or authority. And such alteration na ginawa ng offender or yung damage deletion is intentional or reckless. So, ang example nga nito ay yung pag-i-introduce ng virus and malwares para mag-interfere sa data ng isang computer system. The aim of this provision is to provide computer data and computer programs with protection similar to that enjoyed by corporeal objects against intentional infliction of damage. So the protected legal interest here is the integrity and proper functioning or use of stored computer data or computer programs. This provision seeks to protect the integrity of computer data, electronic document, or electronic data message. So now, Let's go to the fourth type of CIE offense under the Cybercrime Prevention Act, which is yung tinatawag nating system interference. Under the system interference, the offender intentionally alters or recklessly hinders or interferes with the functioning of a computer or a computer network by first inputting, altering, suppressing, transmitting, deteriorating, deleting, or damaging yung computer data or program, electronic document, or data message, including introduction or transmission of viruses, and such alteration, hindering, interference is without right or authority. Itong provision na to, it aims at criminalizing the intentional hindering of lawful use of computer systems, including telecommunications facilities, by using or influencing computer data. The protected legal interest under this provision is the interest of operators and users of computer or telecommunication systems being able to have them function properly. So, ang pinagkaiba ng data interference sa system interference, sa system interference, ang hinihinder nga ng offender dito, yung mismong system. For example, kunyari, yung offender na in-interfere niya yung website ng isang government agencies, ayun, papasok yun sa system interference. Pag data interference naman, ang ina-alter or dinadamage or ng offender ay yung laman na data, hindi yung mismong system. So ayun yung pinagkaiba ng dalawa. So now let's go to the fifth type of CIE offenses under the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, which is the misuse of devices. So ano tong misuse of devices na to? Ang pinapunish dito is yung use, production, sale, procurement, importation, distribution, or otherwise making available without right of the following. First, yung use, production, sale, procurement, importation, and distribution ng device, including a computer program which is designed or adapted primarily for the purpose of committing any of the offenses under this act. Ang example nito, yung pagbibenta ng or paggamit, pagbibenta, pag-produce ng mga hacking softwares. So, ang next na way para makumit yung misuse of devices is yung use, production, sale, procurement, importation, distribution, or otherwise making available ng computer password, access code, or similar data by which the whole or any part of a computer system is capable of being accessed for the purpose of committing any of the offenses under RA 1175. So anong pinagkaiba nitong nung A sa kan B? Yung nung number 1 sa number 2 pala, sorry. Yung sa number 2, so kahit na ang gawin ng offender is ibenta niya lang, kunyari may access siya before ng isang website, ibebenta niyo to sa ibang tao. So yung papasok siya sa misuse of devices. Mas lalo pag yung purpose ng yung password is to access yung computer system or yung website for the purpose of committing any of the offenses under RA 1175. So now let's go to the last type of cybercrime under the CIA offenses, which is yung tinatawag nating cyber squatting. Cyber squatting is the acquisition of a domain name over the internet in bad faith to profit, mislead, destroy reputation, and deprive others from registering the same. If such domain name is first similar, identical, or confusingly similar to an existing trademark or registered with the appropriate government agency at the time of the domain name registration. Or if such domain name is identical or in any way similar with the name of a person other than the registrant in case of personal name. And ito yung huling element ng cyber squatting, the registration or acquisition of domain name is acquired without right or with intellectual property interest in it. So, uh, for example, itong sa slide na to, we have the domain name, which is yung website name or host name, or ito rin yung nakikita natin sa sa taas ng browser, yung URL, which is the Uniform Research Locator. For example, itong website ng Philippine Airlines. Pag nag-expire ng registration ng website ng Philippine Airlines, and then ikaw, napansin mo na, uy, nag-expire ng registration nila ng website, inunahan mo sila para i-register uli yung Philippine Airlines. And yung purpose mo sa pag-una mo sa kanila sa pag-register ng website na yun is to profit. For example, sabi mo, ipapasok ko sa inyo yung registration ng Philippine Airlines kasi 'di ba nag-expire yung registration nyo, bilhin nyo sa akin ng mas mahal. So yun, to profit, to mislead. Pwede mo rin inunahan mo sila i-register yung website nila in order to destroy their reputation. Maglalagay ka ng kung ano-anong content doon, and it will appear sa public na ang nag-post ng mga kung ano-anong pinaglalagay mo sa website na yun ay yung Philippine Airlines. And of course, yung last provision to sa cyber squatting, pag ang purpose mo is to deprive others, or dito example natin is to deprive yung Philippine Airlines from registering yung web name nila. So now let's go to the second main category ng cybercrime under the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, which is yung computer-related offenses. And under computer-related offenses, we have three punishable acts. First, we have yung computer-related forgery. Next, we have yung computer-related fraud. And last but not the least, we have yung computer-related identity theft. So now let's discuss computer-related forgery. So ano yung computer-related forgery? It is the input, alteration, or deletion of any computer data without right, resulting in inauthentic data with the intent that it can be considered or acted upon for legal purpose, as if it were authentic, regardless whether or not the data is directly readable or intelligible. The act of knowingly using computer data, which is the product of computer-related forgery as defined herein, for the purpose of perpetuating a fraudulent or dishonest design. Yung purpose ng provision na to is to create a parallel offense to the forgery of tangible documents. So, ano example ng computer-related forgery? For example, alam naman natin na ngayon, may mga agency or kahit mga private institution tumatanggap ng electronic document wherein yung signature doon hindi na yung traditional signature by hand, so merong electronic signature. Ngayon, itong computer-related forgery, pwedeng gamitin to na, for example, do sa napirmahan na kontrata na electronically signed, ang nakasulat doon kunyari, umutang si A kay B ng 10,000 pesos. Ngayon, nakalipas yung matagal na panahon, biglang naalala ni A na may utang pala siya kay B. And then si B, hindi niya rin, nakalimutan niya na rin yun eh. So, nung time na naalala ni B, hindi niya sigurado kung magkano yung amount kasi nawala niya yung electronic contract. Ngayon si A, alam niya, tinanong siya ni B. Sabi ni B, magkano na nga yung utang mo sa akin? And then sabi ni A, 5,000 pesos lang. Gusto mo send ko pa sa yung kasi alam ko na wala mo yung yung electronic contract natin. Gusto mo i-send ko sa iyo yung kontrata. Pero bago i-send ni A yung kontrata kay B, pinalitan niya na yung yung nakasulat sa kontrata na instead of 10,000 pesos, 5,000 pesos na yung nakalagay. So, ayun yung example ng computer-related forgery. Okay, now we have yung second punishable act under sa computer-related offenses, which is yung computer-related identity theft. Computer-related identity theft. Sa computer-related identity theft, the offender intentionally acquires, uses, misuses, transfers, possesses, alters or deletes identifying information belonging to another. And itong ginawa niyang ganito, it is done without right or consent from the person to whom the personal information belongs. This act, which may or may not result in damage. Ang example ng computer-related identity theft is yung, for example, yung paggawa ng dummy account ng Facebook ng ibang tao. Kunyari sa person A, ginawa niya ng dummy account si person B. Yung paggawa niya, wala namang intention to cause damage, ginawa niya lang ng fake account. So, pasok pa rin yun sa computer-related identity theft. Okay, now we go to the third main category of cybercrime under the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, which yung tinatawag natin mga content-related offenses. They are being punished by the law because of their content. First, we have yung cybersex. Second, we have yung online child abuse or child pornography. And last but not the least, we have yung cyber libel na sobrang sikat. Okay, first we go to cybersex. Sa cybersex na to, it is the willful engagement, maintenance, control, or operation directly or indirectly of any lascivious exhibition of sexual organs or sexual activity. And the act was done with the aid of a computer system. And ito yung pinaka-importanting element dito. The act was done for favor or consideration. So, magkakaroon lamang po tayo ng violation ng cybersex pag yung cybersex ay ginagawa siya done for favor or consideration, meaning yung cybersex ginagawa siya as a business. So, under the case nga ni Dicini versus Secretary of Justice, sinabi doon sa kaso na yon that cybersex is interactive prostitution by webcam. So, ang example nito is, for example, may mga tao na nagpapalabas sila ng hubad online. For example, pwede nilang gamitin yung Messenger or Zoom or Viber or etc. And then, para ma-access mo yung show nila which is na malaswa, kailangan mo sa kanila magbayad para makapasok ka doon sa cybersex na tinatawag na yun. So, yung cybersex na violation na to, it only applies to persons engaged in the business. So, ayun sinabi nung sa kaso na Dicini versus Secretary of Justice. It only applies to persons engaged in the business. So, pinagkakakitaan. So, for example, si person A saka si person B, mag-boyfriend-girlfriend sila, and then nag-cybersex sila dalawa by reason of their relationship. Pero advice ko sa lahat, huwag nyo gagawin kasi lahat ng ginagawa natin sa internet, hindi tayo sure na safe to. So possible na pag ginawa nyo yun, possible na kumalat yun. So kumbaga ginawa ko lang siya example na dahil yung act na yun, yung pag-cybersex ng magjowa, hindi siya punishable kasi sabi nga doon sa kaso ng Dicini versus Secretary of Justice, it only applies to persons engaged in the business ng cybersex. So now, let's go to the next punishable act under yung content-related offenses under the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. We have child pornography. um, the commission or ano yung child pornography? It is the commission of any punishable acts under Republic Act 9775 or the Anti-Child Pornography Act of 2009. And itong commission ng mga punishable acts na ito ay committed through the use of a computer system. Ang pinagkaiba lang nito sa child pornography under RA 9775 is yung tungtong child pornography na to, na-commit siya kasi gumamit tayo ng computer system. For example, pag yung child pornography, gumamit na sila nung kunyari camera, hindi naman gumamit ng computer system. Pinicturean kunyari yung bata for the purpose of committing child pornography and print, hindi siya papasok sa child pornography under RA 1175. But pag kinuha na ng picture yung isang bata na in the form of child pornography and then such child pornographic image or videos, pinost siya or sinend siya sa Facebook Messenger, Viber, or kung anumang application, or basta pag gumamit ng computer, papasok na siya sa RA 1175. And as a result, ang pinagkaiba nito sa child pornography pa na under RA 9775, the penalty to be imposed shall be 1 degree higher than that provided for in Republic Act 9775. So yung provision na to, it merely expands the scope ng Anti-Child Pornography Act of 2009 to cover identical activities in cyberspace. So now, let's go to the last punishable acts under the content-related offenses, which is yung cyber libel. Ito yung sikat na cyber libel. So, Republic Act number 1175 in defining cyber libel made reference to the unlawful or prohibited acts of libel as defined in Article 355 of the Revised Penal Code as amended. Ang pinagkaiba lang nitong libel na to, katulad nung sa child pornography kanina, it is committed through a computer system or any other similar means which may be devised in the future. Itong cyber libel na to, this is not a new crime, already punished siya under Article 353 in relation to Article 355 ng Revised Penal Code na nagpapunish siya ganito. In effect, itong Section 4C for under Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 or yung cyber libel, it merely affirms that online defamation constitutes similar means of committing libel. And as declared by the Supreme Court do sa case ni Dicini versus Secretary of Justice, itong cyber libel na to, only the author of the libelous statement or article is penalized. So, for example, si person A, may pinost siya na libelous statement sa Facebook, and then marami nag-like doon. Marami nag-like, nag-react, nag-heart, or any reactions. So, base nga sa kaso ni Dicini versus Secretary of Justice, ang may pananagutan lamang sa cyber libel ay yung author o kung sino yung gumawa ng libelous statement. So, kahit na i-share mo yung libelous statement, yung author lang, kasi hindi ka naman yung author eh. Unless na yung mga nakakita ng libelous statement, for example sa Facebook, aside from yung paglalike nila doon sa message, nag-comment sila na parang kumbaga sinigundahan nila yung nakasulat doon. For example, ang sinabi ni person A against person B, si person B, nagnakaw yan sa isang grocery no isang araw. Tapos biglang may nag-comment si person C naman. Oo nga. Bukod nga doon sa sinabi ni person A, nagnakaw din siya dun sa parmasya. So, sa example na binigay ko ngayon, both person A and person C, they will be held liable for cyber libel. Kung sana si person C, nag-like lang siya sa libel statement ni person A, hindi siya magiging liable sa cyber libel. Pero yung sinabi niya na, oo nga, nagnakaw, kung tutusin nga, nagnakaw pa ngayon siya sa parmasya din na iba eh. So yung pag-add niya ng information ng another libel statement, ayun yung reason bakit magiging siya, liable siya for cyber libel din. Next, we have yung other cybercrime offenses naman. Under Section 5 of RA 1175, which is yung aiding or abetting in the commission of cybercrime. So any person who willfully abets or aids in the commission of any of the offenses enumerated in this act shall be held liable. And under Section 5, pinapunish yung attempt in the commission of cybercrime. So any person who willfully attempts to commit any of the offenses enumerated in this act shall be held liable. So for example, yung sa attempt in the commission of the cybercrime, si person A, sinubukan niya i-hack yung isang website, pero dahil maganda yung protection system or protection software nung website na tinatry i-hack ni person A, hindi niya ito napasok. So, in this case, meron ng attempt in the commission of cybercrime, which is also a punishable offense under the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Yeah. So, now we go to Section 6. So, pag may mga yung mga crimes na hindi covered ng Cybercrime Prevention Act kasi hindi nabanggit doon, pero punishable siya under the Revised Penal Code or other special laws. But yung mga crimes na yon are committed by, through, and with the use of information and communications technology, papasok pa rin siya sa Cybercrime Prevention Act in relation to Section 6. Ang magiging effect nito, yung penalty na imposable shall be 1 degree higher than that provided for the Revised Penal Code as amended. Or yung penalties provided under special laws as the case may be. So now, katulad nga nung sinabi ko kanina, for crimes na hindi pinapunish ni Cybercrime Prevention Act, pero they are committed by, through, or with the use of ICT under Section 6 ng Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, ito yung magiging effect. Number 1, yung penalty na i-impose ng ating mga korte is 1 degree higher. So for example, yung penalty imposed sa isang crime is 1 to 30 days lang normally. So possible siya maging 1 month to 6 months pag committed through, by, or with the use of ICTs. And another effect nito, pag yung mga crimes under Revised Penal Code and special laws are committed by, or with, or through the use of ICTs, yung tinatawag nating investigative tools or yung procedural provisions ng Republic Act 1175 are made applicable. So pwedeng gamitin yung procedural provisions na i-discuss ko sa next slide. So now, we go to the second main provision or salient provision ng Republic Act 1175, which is yung procedural provision. Procedural provisions, these provisions provides law enforcement authorities, which is yung NBI Cybercrime Division and PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group, with the technical tools that will aid them in conducting cybercrime and cyber-related investigations. So what are the investigative tools under Republic Act 1175? First, we have yung tinatawag nating preservation request. The preservation request or preservation order is an order coming from the law enforcement agencies. For example, ngayon, NBI Cybercrime Division and PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group, mandating the service providers to keep, preserve, and maintain the integrity of the computer data subject thereof. Itong preservation request na to or preservation order, it is a condition sine qua non or indispensable requirement. So kailangan to bago makapag-apply yung ating mga law enforcement agencies ng cyber warrant sa korte. Kasi, for example, may na-commit na cybercrime. And then, siyempre cybercrime, pag may cybercrime, nakakonekta ka sa internet. So, kada kumukonekta ka sa internet, meron kang IP address. So, from that, para during the investigation ng ating mga law enforcement agencies, kailangan nila yung information ng subscriber information kung sino yung nagmamayari, yung certain IP address. And bago sila makapag-apply ng warrant sa ating mga korte, bago i-disclose ng ating mga ISPs or mga telcos yung subscriber information ng certain IP address, dapat nakapag-apply muna sila ng preservation request. Kasi possible na, although nakapag-apply nga sila ng warrant, pero hindi naman sila nag-issue ng preservation request or order sa mga service providers such as yung mga telcos, pwedeng pag nag-grant yung cyber warrant, yung subscriber information, wala na siya kasi deleted na. May certain time frame lang na during certain time frame lang kinikip ng service providers or ng telcos yung data regarding doon. So pag hindi ka nag-apply ng preservation request, mawawala yun after certain time. So ang effect nitong preservation request pala, pag in-issue to sa ating mga service providers or ating mga telcos, mamandate sila na beyond sa normal time frame na kinikip nila yung data na yon, ipipreserve nila yung data. Pero bago nga nila i-disclose ito sa ating mga law enforcement agencies, kailangan muna nila mag-apply ng cybercrime warrants. So, now we go to another investigative tools or procedural tool, which is yung tinatawag nating cybercrime warrants. The rules on cybercrime warrants promulgated by the Supreme Court in 2018 sets for the procedure for the application and grant of warrants and related orders involving the preservation, disclosure, interception, search, seizure, and or examination, as well as the custody and destruction of computer data as provided under Republic Act 1175. So itong procedural tools na ito, ang makakapag-apply lamang ito or gumagamit ito ay ang ating mga law enforcement authorities. So ano yung mahalaga in knowing that it is only available to our law enforcement authorities or simply the NBI or the PNP? This is important insofar as our private practitioners are concerned. Or yung mga private practitioners natin tukol ko dito ay yung mga abogado. Normally, they always ask whether or not necessary ba na before sila mag-file ng cybercrime case, kailangan ba munang dumaan sila at mag-file ng report sa NBI or PNP. So, ang sagot sa normal na katanungan ng mga private practitioner na lawyers, hindi po necessary na mag-file muna sila ng complaint sa NBI or sa PNP. Pag ang cybercrime na commit, for example, libel, and kumpleto naman ng evidence yung complaint, sigurado siya na ang nag-post ng libel statement, yung taong pinaparatangan niya, and kumpleto siya ng ebidensya, it is not necessary na mag-file, na dumaan muna sila sa NBI or PNP. Nothing prevents yung kanilang mga abogado from filing a case directly with the National Prosecution Service or yung tinatawag nating piskalya. However, please do note that if the case is lacking evidence or may kulang pa na ebidensya, or for example, in cases na yung cybercriminal hindi pa alam kung sino, kailangan itong mga investigative tools or procedural tools under RA 1175. So, it is necessary na pag yung puling ebidensya at hindi alam yung pagkakalinlan ng cyber criminals na mag-file yung mga private lawyers ng complaint muna or dumaan muna yung kaso sa law enforcement authorities such as yung NBI Cybercrime Division or yung PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group. Dahil yun nga, katulad ng binanggit ko kanina, kaya kailangan dumaan sa NBI or sa PNP, sila lang po ang pwedeng mag-apply ng cybercrime warrants sa korte. So, as discussed a while ago, the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 enumerated kung sino yung law enforcement authorities. Ang binabanggit dito is yung NBI and the PNP shall be responsible for the efficient and effective law enforcement of the provisions of this act. And yung NBI sa PNP, they should organize a cybercrime unit or a center manned by special investigators to exclusively handle cases involving violations of this act. So meaning nga, ang tinutukoy dito na yung unit, pag sa NBI, ito yung NBI Cybercrime Division, and pag sa PNP, ito yung PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group. Ayun, tulad nga nung nabanggit ko kanina, naglabas ng public advisory opinion ang Department of Justice wherein hindi kailangan, ang laman nitong advisory opinion number 1 series of 2018, hindi kailangan dumiretso, ay it is not necessary na diretsong ay na mag-file muna ng report or complaint sa PNP ACG or sa NBI Cybercrime Division pag kumpleto na yung evidence, pag na-identify na yung perpetrator. So pwede na pong direktang mag-file ng kaso sa National Prosecution Service or yung piskalya. So, ang pinagagamitan pala ng preservation request at saka nung cybercrime warrants ay yung computer data. And there are 3 types of computer data. First, we have yung subscriber information, then traffic data, and then content data. So now, what is subscriber information? It refers to any information that is held by a service provider relating to subscribers of its services other than traffic or content data. Ang example po nito, yung sa Facebook. Ano yung subscriber information? So pag nag-register tayo sa Facebook, kailangan natin ibigay sa Facebook yung ating first name, last name, email address, gender, birthday. Ito po yung tinatawag nating subscriber information or yung information ng gumagamit doon sa service ng service provider. So now, let's go to the second type of computer data, which is yung traffic or non-content data. This traffic or non-content data refers to any computer data other than the content of the communication, which is usually computer generated. Itong traffic or non-content data, normally computer generated siya. Ang example nito, pag nagpadala tayo ng email, pag tinignan mo yung email header nung email, nakasulat doon yung recipient, kung sino yung sender ng email, yung date and time of sending ng email, saka date and time ng recipient, and the IP address of the sender and the recipient. So ito yung tinatawag nating traffic or non-content data. So now let's go to yung content data naman. Yung nasa taas ng pyramid na pinakita ko kanina. This refers to the contents of the communication. Ang example po nito, pag nagpadala tayo ng email, kung ano yung mismong content ng email natin, kunyari yung message natin doon at yung mga file na inattach natin doon sa email. Another example is yung mga post natin sa ating mga Facebook, whether it is a video, pictures, or kahit yung mga post natin na normal na mga words. So ano naman po yung relevancy nung mga discuss ko na different type of computer data? Under po ng RA 10175 and yung sa rules on cybercrime warrants, Pag ang kailangan po hingiin ng ating mga law enforcement agencies is yung subscriber information lang, or yung information ng subscriber ng, for example, ng sa telcos, kung sino yung may-ari ng IP address, etc. As a general rule po, the law enforcement agencies or authorities need to obtain court warrant for violations of RA 10175 or Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. Pero meron po tayong exception with regards to the disclosure or search of subscriber information. For mere request po, the telcos or yung mga service providers, they are required to disclose yung subscriber information for violation of Republic Act 9775 or the Anti-Child Pornography Act of 2009. Ito lang po yung yung only exception regarding the requirement for obtaining a court warrant. Sa lang po yung subscriber information lang and for violation of RA 9775. Wala na pong iba. So pagdating sa traffic data and content data, ang general rule po and without exception, a court warrant must be obtained regardless of the crime committed in order for our law enforcement agencies or authorities to obtain traffic data or content data from service providers. So now, ano ba yung mga different types of cybercrime warrants under the rules on cybercrime warrants as promulgated by the Supreme Court? Meron pong 4 doon. Yung warrant to disclose computer data, warrant to intercept computer data, warrant to search, seize, and examine computer data, and warrant to examine computer data. So, yung normally po, yung warrant to disclose computer data, ginagamit to pag kailangan mag-request ng law enforcement agencies or authorities ng subscriber information, content data or traffic data from the service provider. Yung warrant to intercept computer data naman, kung kailangan po nila mag-intercept ng data, kumbaga ito yung counterpart ng wiretapping. Yung wiretapping po at saka yung interception, illegal sila kahit na ang gumawa po nito ay yung mga law enforcement authorities or agencies, unless they can obtain a warrant sa korte or from the courts. So, pag yung ating mga law enforcement agencies or authorities, they intercept computer data without obtaining a warrant to intercept computer data, they may be held liable for violation of the Cybercrime Prevention Act 2012, specifically yung punishable act na illegal interception. So now let's go to the next type of cybercrime warrant, which is the warrant search, seize, and examine computer data. Normally, ginagawa to for violation of, ina-apply to for pag kunyari may alleged violation ng cybercrime and then may complainant and there is a necessity to conduct a raid. So kailangan na, kumbaga instead of search warrant, ito na po yun. Warrant to search, seize, and examine computer data. So ginagamit to ng law enforcement agencies para search yung isang lugar and to seize yung mga possible sources ng electronic evidence such as yung computer and yung mga ibang electronic gadgets that may contain electronic evidence. So pag nag-apply sila ng itong warrant to search, seize, and examine computer data, pwede na rin nilang may authority na rin sila by virtue of this warrant to conduct a computer forensic or digital forensic of yung mga digital evidence na seize. Itong naman, yung last type of cybercrime warrant is yung warrant to examine computer data. Ina-apply to pag may normally ginagamit to pag for example mayroong warrantless arrest and then may na-obtain sa kanya na computer, for example, yung cellphone, na caught in the act siya, kaya yung nga, nangyaring warrantless arrest, pero it doesn't mean na pwede nilang yung ating law enforcement agencies or authorities, pwede na nilang galawin yung laman ng phone to search for evidence. Kailangan pa rin lang mag-apply ng cybercrime warrant na warrant to examine computer data sa ating mga korte in order for them to have the authority to conduct digital forensic examination of the seized device. Okay, so now we go to yung tinatawag nating extraterritorial service of cybercrime warrants. Normally, pag nag-apply po ng warrant ang ating mga law enforcement authorities or agencies, pag territorial service ng cybercrime warrant, meaning pag dito lang sa Pilipinas, sila na po yung nagsaserve ng warrant. However, paano pag ang case is because of the transborder nature of cybercrime, nag-grant ng warrant dito sa Philippines, but the perpetrator o yung tinatawag natin cybercriminal is situated outside the Philippines. Ang magsaserve po niyan ay yung Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime by using yung international cooperation mechanism or through the use of MLAT or yung Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty Request. Kami po yung magsaserve nito, ipapadala po namin yung warrant sa ating mga foreign counterparts and sila po yung magsaserve ng warrant doon sa cybercriminal na located sa ibang bansa. So now, let's go to the final procedural provision or yung salient provision pala ng RA 1175, which is yung cooperation provision. So provisions on international cooperation which provide for mechanisms that will foster and enhance collaboration with our foreign counterparts. Mahalaga po itong provision na to because of the global and the transborder nature of cybercrime. So ano yung global and transborder nature of cybercrime? Hindi po ito katulad ng yung mga common crimes na wherein yung victim sa yung criminal located dito sa ating bansa. Transborder siya in the sense na possible na yung victim po nasa Pilipinas pero yung perpetrator yung nagkumitong cybercrime nasa ibang bansa, or possible din na yung cybercriminal is a Filipino and then yung victim niya located abroad. So itong cybercrime, normally yung mga cybercriminals, they are operating all over the world and it is transcending geographical boundaries. Ayan. So, the cooperation mechanism of Republic Act 1175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act 2012, it is lodged with the DOJ, Office of Cybercrime, which is the designated central authority under the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 in all matters relating to international mutual cooperation and extradition, which is in line with the Budapest Convention. So yung office po namin, kami din yung designated 24/7 network point of contact on matters related to cybercrime, and shall accordingly the DOJ OOC shall provide immediate assistance for the purpose of investigations or proceedings concerning criminal offenses related to computer systems and data, and for the collection of evidence in electronic form of a criminal offense. Ang example po natin dito, ibigay po tayo ng example, ang ating mga foreign counterparts, for example yung US DOJ or yung mga foreign law enforcement agencies, if they need assistance with regards to the cybercrime investigations that they are conducting, it is the DOJ Office of Cybercrime kung saan sila lumalapit. So, linapitan po nila yung DOJ OOC in matters of provision of technical advice, preservation of computer data, collection of evidence, provision of legal information, and the giving of assistance in locating cybercriminals dito sa bansa natin. Itong cooperation mechanism na to under the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, this goes both ways. So, whenever our local law enforcement authorities or agencies, kailangan din nila ng assistance sa mga foreign counterparts, it is our office, the Office of Cybercrime, that serves as the gateway for this request for assistance. Even though yung 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 DOJ OOC is designated as a central authority under yung sa batas nga, there are also informal cooperation between our law enforcement agencies and their foreign counterparts. So, possible pa rin na magkaroon ng direct cooperation, although informal, between sa ating law enforcement agencies. For example, between NBI or the PNP sa FBI sa US. So, pwede silang mag-coordinate directly by virtue nung tinatawag nating reciprocity agreement. Pero normally, kailangan tong formal cooperation yung dadaan sa DOJ Office of Cybercrime pag yung information sharing is gagamitin natin sa prosecution ng cases. Kunyari, yung mga evidence kailangan nang gamitin sa korte. Pero pag ang purpose ng sharing information is for intel purposes, doon normally hindi na dumadaan sa Office of Cybercrime yun. Ayun yung tinatawag na informal cooperation. So in addition to facilitating international cooperation related to cybercrime, yung office po namin, the Office of Cybercrime, also provides the following assistance to the public, to the NBI, PNP, and other law enforcement authorities. First, our office, we give advice to the public. Like for example, if may mag-walk-in sa office namin, or there are people who sends email to the official email of the Office of Cybercrime, kahit na hindi mo kami law enforcement agency, what we do is we give legal advice sa public. Second, our office also assists law enforcement agencies in the investigation of cybercrimes and cyber-related offenses. Another function of the DOJ OOC is that we issue public advisory and legal opinions, and we do policy recommendations. If you want to read our public advisories, they are posted on our Facebook page. Search nyo lang po sa Facebook yung Department of Justice, Office of Cybercrime. And posted din po yung ibang public advisory namin and IEC materials sa website po ng DOJ. Number 4, another function of the DOJ Office of Cybercrime is to upskill all players in the criminal justice sector on matters related to cybercrime and electronic evidence. In short, we provide trainings po for judges, prosecutors, law enforcement authorities, and other legal practitioners. So, meron pong tinatawag na DOJ pool of cybercrime trainers, which are composed of judges, prosecutors, state councils, and law enforcement agencies or authorities, yung Office of Cybercrime. Of course, tumatanggap din kami na yung mga requests as a resource speaker. For example, katulad po ng event na to. Ang kailangan lang po gawin ng mga mag-request is to write a formal request po addressed to our office. Okay, so now we go to the impact of the pandemic on cybercrimes. As you may all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has taken the globe by storm, and stringent measures were imposed to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and for everyone's safety. So, as we all know, maraming nabago dahil sa pandemic. For example, maraming mga work, they shifted from yung traditional na physical reporting for duties, naging work from home arrangement na siya. And also, yung mga meetings, instead of doing physical meetings, yung meetings ngayon normally ginagawa na through Zoom or through other application like Zoom. Also, yung mga bata, yung mga anak natin, yung schools po nila, they already shifted to online classes and yung sa mga modules. So while this pandemic is happening, cyber criminals are attacking the computer networks and systems of individuals, businesses, and even global organizations. During this time na yung cyber defenses might be lowered because yung shift ng mga governments, nagpo-focus sila sa health crisis, which is to pandemic. So, now, we go to itong statistic na to. Thank you pala sa mga friend natin from PNP ACG. Sa kanila nanggaling itong cybercrime statistic na to. From 2013, which is yung creation ng PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group, mapapansin po nyo na ang laki ng pagtaas ng cybercrime sa bansa natin. So, noong 2013, yung PNP ACG naka-receive po sila ng complaint na 149. Pero pagdating ng following year, merong increase na 262.42%. Hanggang, ito po, makikita nyo po yung data dito. While for the year, mapapansin nyo po na from year 2019 to 2020, ang baba po na increase. Ang increase lang nung cybercrime complaints na na-receive nila is 7.5. Itong unti po na increase na to was recorded due to the strict implementation of community quarantine and strict travel restriction wherein yung mga victims were not able to lodge their complaint at the cybercrime office. So ito po yung possible bakit na from yung mga matataas na increase per year based dito sa statistic, bakit from 2019 to 2020 meron lang po 7.5 increase. Kasi maalala niyo po nung March 2020, doon po nagsimula yung lockdown natin due to COVID-19 pandemic. So, sobrang strict po nung time na yon. And then malaki po possibility na maraming victim in cybercrime during that time. However, yung due to yung sa community quarantine, they cannot file their complaints sa cybercrime office. So, ito naman po, itong statistic na to, this shows the comparative cybercrime volume of January to May 2020 and January to May 2021. This statistic also came from our friends from the Philippine National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group. So, mapapansin nyo po, a total of 1,409 increase in cybercrime volume were recorded as compared the same period last year. So from 1,741, nag-increase po siya ng 3,150 or 1,409 increase na cybercrime volume. Ang reason naman po nito, kaya compared sa last year, mas mataas this year kasi mas mahigpit po yung community quarantine during yung period ng last year, nung nagsimula po yung COVID pandemic compared sa January to May 2021. So, based on the data shared by PNP ACG and based on the data we have yung sa mga sinend po na email sa official email ng Office of Cybercrime, and based on the data submitted by the National Prosecution Service, yung mga na-file po na kaso sa Piskalya, the following are the cybercrime trends during the pandemic. So, first on our list ng trending na cybercrime is yung online fraud or online scam. And there are 4 most common type of scam being committed by cyber criminals or by cyber scammers. First, we have yung very famous na online shopping scam. Marami na bi-victimize ito ngayon. Kasi, yun nga, most of the time, ang mga tao nag-online shopping. Instead of going outside, dahil nga sa pandemic, takot sila mahawa, umu-order na lang sila sa mga online shopping networks such as yung Lazada or yung Shopee. So, regarding sa online shopping scam, there are certain red flags na kailangan po nating bantayan in order to avoid being victimized by cyber scammers. First red flag, the offer or the ads posted online is too good to be true. Ang example po nito na, for example, ang normal price po ng ng ganitong brandang TV sa mga physical shop is 20,000. And then makakita po tayo ng ads online na ang presyo, yung the same TV, same brand, binibenta lang siya na instead of 20,000 pesos, binibenta lang siya ng 3,000 pesos. So, dapat ano yun, medyo magtaka na tayo. Oh, bakit kaya binibenta ng sobrang mura ito? So, parang it's too good to be true. Pero not necessarily po na na automatic scam na kaagad yun. So, we should do our research kasi possible na meron lang talagang promotional Pero dapat yun, it serve as a red flag sa atin. So medyo kabahan po tayo pag may nakita tayo na too good to be true na mga offer. Okay, another red flag na kailangan pong bantayan when it comes to online shopping is yung the shop has a very low rating or no ratings. Pag napansin nyo po, kunyari punta kayo sa Lazada or Shopee, dapat po tignan natin before we order our things online. Let's check yung shop. May rating ba siya? Baka mamaya newly created lang pala siya. So, mas safe po na mag-order tayo sa mga shops na may ratings, and dapat yung rating medyo mataas siya, siguro at least 4%. 4 stars pala. So, we should always check the reviews and ratings of online shop prior to buying online. Another red flag po is yung products with very low rating or no ratings. So, bukod po sa pag-check ng ratings ng online shop, we should always check the reviews and the ratings of the products you plan to buy. Baka mamaya naman po, although mataas yung ratings nung shop, kaya possible na yung ratings ng product mababa kasi baka sirain siya or baka fake siya. So, dapat bukod sa checking nung rating ng online shop, we should also check the ratings of the products we're planning to buy. So, another red flag po na kailangan nating bantayan regarding online shopping is yung that the seller normally insists immediate payment and they insist payment outside of the payment portal of the online shopping platform. Ang example po nito, kunyari you want to order from Lazada or Shopee or any other shopping platform, and then pag nag-check out po kayo, magme-message sa inyo yung seller. Then sabihin niya, para hassle, although pinili mo cash on delivery, para hindi po hassle sa inyo, kailangan nyo magbayad na online or through GCash. So medyo kabahan po kayo kasi bakit nagre-request yung seller na bayaran nyo na kaagad yung item, ang pinili nyo naman po nung nag-check out kayo ng product na gusto nyo bilhin is cash on delivery or COD. So red flag na po yun. So always, dapat po never transact outside yung payment portal ng online shopping platform. It is very advisable na if we do shopping online, ang pinaka-advisable po na mode of payment is cash on delivery. Or kung hindi po tayo magka-cash on delivery kasi possible na baka yung estimated delivery time wala po tao sa bahay, kung magbabayad po tayo, dapat gamitin natin yung payment portal provided by the system. Katulad po ng Shopee Pay at saka yung Lazada Wallet. Another red flag naman po, for example, hindi naman sa mga shopping platform, kunyari may specific website, una po natin tingnan, pag yung website has no contact details and then the physical address of the company or the web, kung sino po may-ari ng shop, is not mentioned in the website, and there are no information about privacy and terms and condition do sa website. So, possible po na bogus website yun. So, here are some helpful tips to avoid being scammed. First nga, you should, before buying online, we should research about the website, the product, and the online shop. Second, we should know the terms and condition of the sale. We should read carefully the product description. Kasi before, may na-receive po na email yung Office of Cybercrime. Nagreklamo siya na scam daw siya kasi nag-order siya sa isang online platform and then bumili siya ng ng upuan for 500 pesos lang. Magandang couch yun eh. And na-receive niya, maliit lang daw, laruan. So, nung nakita namin yung email niya sa official email namin, provide niya rin kasi yung link nung shop sa kanong item. Nakita po namin doon, nakalagay doon sa product description na yung product po, miniature copy nung upuan. So talagang laruan po siya. So in short, hindi po wala pong scam na nangyari. Pero dahil nga hindi po siya nagbabasa ng product description bago siya bumili, mali siyang nabili. Nakala niya na scam siya. So we should always read the product description before confirming our order. Of course, another tip is you should know your rights. Pag may violation po ng rights nyo, you should, as soon as possible, make a complaint with the Department of Trade in Industry. Pwede rin po kayo dumulog sa PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group or sa NBI Cybercrime Division. Another tip in order to avoid being victimized by online shopping scam, make sure po that you are visiting a secure site. Paano po natin malalaman na we are visiting a secure site? Dapat yung URL po, kung saan nakasulat yung website address nung binibisa po nating on-site shop, dapat may nakasulat po doon na HTTPS para malaman natin secure. Of course, you should always use the secure payment portal of the platform. Better to use, yun nga, katulad yung binanggit kanina, cash on delivery as mode of payment, especially for expensive items. Another tip is you should only download yung official apps from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Wag po tayo kung saan nag-download ng mga application. Para sure natin na po siya, legitimate and wala pong malware yung application. Kasi baka may fake po na download nyo, fake application. Pag nag-order po kayo, nagbayad kayo, ginamit yung credit card nyo, na po yun. Hindi po papasok to sa kung ano po tayo ilagay yung legitimate na online shopping platform. Okay? Another type ng most common online fraud or scam is yung phishing, vishing, and smishing, which is I'm going to discuss later. We also have yung investment scam, online investment scam. Tulad po ng sa online shopping scam, pag yung offer nila, if the offer is too good to be true, most likely it is a scam. Ang nauuso po ngayon dito sa investment scam, most likely familiar po yung mga nakikinig po ngayon sa cryptocurrency o yung mga crypto games katulad ng Axie, marami po nabibiktim doon. So pag ang offer po, for example, kunyari ang current price is current price is $3 yung SLP, which is yung token sa laro na Axie. Tapos may nakita online yung na binibenta lang ng $1 or mga 50 pesos. Yun? Pag it's too good to be true, most likely scam po yun. So now, yung last most common type of online fraud is yung other bank fraud or financial scam. Ang example po nito is yung mga hack account asking for some financial help. Pwede rin po yung mga credit card scam, etc. So now, let's go to yung second trending na cybercrime during the pandemic, which is yung libel. What is a libel? A libel is a public or malicious imputation of a crime or a vice or defect, which is whether it's real or imaginary, or any act, omission, condition, status, or circumstance tending to cause dishonor, discredit, or contempt of a natural or juridical person, or to blacken the memory of one who is dead. So, sa libel po, every defamatory imputation or yung mga libelous imputation is presumed to be malicious. So may presume na may malice yung pag-post nun. Even if yung yung pinost mo natin o yung statement is true, if no good intention and justifiable motive for making it is shown, pwede po tayong maging liable for libel. Ang exception lang po sa libel is yung if a private communication made by any person to another in the performance of any legal, moral, or social duty. Ang example po nito, for example, si person A, inform niya si person B na wag pa utangin si person C, na si person B kasi kaibigan ni person A. Inform niya si person B na wag pa utangin si person C kasi hindi marunong magbayad si person C. Since private communication siya and it is made by person A because may duty siya as a kaibigan, social duty siya as a friend kay B na baka mamaya umutang din sa kanya si person C and hindi rin mabayaran yung utang niya. So another exception po sa libel cases, yung fair and true report made in good faith without any comments or remarks of any judicial, legislative, or other official proceedings which are not confidential in nature, or of any statement, report, or speech delivered in said proceedings, or any other acts performed by public officers in the exercise of their function. So itong libel pala, ang common cause po nito, kaya may mga nasasapa ng libel, is yung pagiging chismosa or pagiging marites sa mga tao. At yung pagiging mahilig mag-post sa social media ng mga tao, ng kanilang mga saloobin. So, we should be careful po in posting things on social media kasi pag yung post po natin, medyo libelous po siya, pwede po tayong masampahan ng libel. So, another trending cybercrime is yung harassment committed by online lending companies, which will be discussed later sa presentation ko. Okay? And of course, another trending cybercrime is yung online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. Itong USEC po, ito po yung yung pagpapalaganap ng mga child pornographic materials or mga child sexual exploitation materials ng children. So, warning lang po sa lahat, wag po tayong mag-share ng mga child pornographic materials kasi pwede po tayong maging liable for child pornography by mere sharing of child pornographic materials. Pag 18 and below po yung share po natin, pasok na kaagad yun sa child pornography. So wag po kayo mag-share ng and even if yung share po natin is yung mga scandal and yung subject ng video or ng picture is 18 and above, although hindi po tayo magiging liable for child pornography, pwede po tayong held liable for other laws po, such as yung RA 995 or yung Anti-Photo and Video Voyeurism Law. So now, another common cybercrime during the pandemic po is yung sextortion. Common victims are foreigners. And nakakalungkot po isipin, marami pong perpetrator ng sextortion is Filipinos. Ang modus po dito, yung cybercriminal, they will entice the foreigner or yung victim to show his or her body and will ask them to do sexual acts in front of the camera. Normally po, yung criminal nagpapanggap na other sex. For example, yung cybercriminal, papanggap siya na babae, ang victim niya lalaki, or pwede rin nagpapanggap na lalaki, ang magiging victim niya babae naman. Ang purpose po nito, kasi di ba inas nga po na to do sexual acts in front of the camera, unknowingly to the victim, the cybercriminal is recording the sexual act. Ang purpose po nila is to ask for money or in short, iba-blackmail po yung other party. Otherwise, ang pananakot nila, they will send the pictures or videos to the victims' relatives and friends. Also, kung minsan naman po, hindi po money ina-ask ng mga criminals. They are asking for more photos or videos. So in short, gagamitin po nila yung previous nude picture or nude video para i-ask yung other party na mag-produce pa ng ibang mga videos and pictures. So as advice po, if ever you'll become a victim of sextortion, ang kailangan po gawin dito, you should not give in to the demands of the perpetrator because the demand will never stop, and pag nag-give in tayo sa demands nila, what you need to do is immediately report the same to the proper authorities para imbestigahan at mahuli po yung cyber criminals. Okay, now we have yung 6 common cybercrime, which is yung identity theft. Remember po, we should be careful in giving or divulging your personal data publicly. Ang perfect example po nito, yung pagiging mahilig po ng mga Filipino na mag-post ng information online. For example, may nakita po ako before sa Facebook. Ano siya kasi nag-apply na siya ng national ID, natuwa siya. Nung na-receive niya yung national ID niya, kinuha na niya ng picture, pinost niya yung national ID niya sa Facebook. Delikado po ito kasi because bad actors may use the same to assume your identity and commit crimes using your personal information. So pag pinost mo yung ID mo, pwede niyang i-save yun and then gumawa siya ng panibagong gumawa siya ng dami account using your name and your information, and then magtatransact siya with other persons. So kukumit siya ng scam. And ang lalabas po doon sa katransact niya, ang scammer, yung person na meron talagang nagmamay-ari ng identity. So yun po, delikado po yung pag-post natin ng too much information sa ating mga social medias. And regarding po dito, medyo related lang pero hindi man related sa identity theft. Delikado rin po na, for example, we're going for a vacation somewhere and then bago po tayo umalis ng bahay, ina-announce po natin na Facebook na we're excited na pumunta for example sa Boracay, and then babanggitin pa doon sa post na yay, yung buong family namin makakapag-Boracay. So delikado po yun kasi possible na yung mga bad actors nakita yun, alam ko nasan yung bahay nyo dahil alam nila na walang maiiwan sa bahay nyo, pwede po looban yung bahay nyo. So now we go to yung last na common cybercrime trend ngayong pandemic, which is yung anti-photo and video voyeurism. Or in short, ito po yung mas scandal. So, ang tip lang po dito, kahit po na yung mga girlfriend po or boyfriend po natin, ang magre-request ng, for example, i-request po ng boyfriend nyo or kaya ng girlfriend nyo to send you picture sa kanila, for the meantime po, hindi tayo siguro kailangan kabahan kasi boyfriend girlfriend nga natin. Ang tanong mo kasi diyan, what if maghiwalay kayo? Most of the time po, yung mga complaint na na-receive for violation of anti-photo and video voyeurism, ang victim po at saka yung perpetrator or yung nag-commit po nung crime ay mag-boyfriend girlfriend. Nangyayari po to, kinakalat po nung isang party kung sino yung mas nasaktan dahil sa breakup, para as a form of revenge, kinakalat po nila yung nude pictures nung kabilang party or videos ng kabilang party or yung nude pictures or videos ng both parties po. So ayan po yung anti-photo and video voyeurism. And at the same time po, kahit na hindi maghiwalay yung mag-boyfriend girlfriend, tulad nga po ng sinabi ko kanina, hindi po totally secure yung ating mga communications online. So possible na baka maya na-hack na pala tayo and then ma-access po nila itong mga private pictures na to and videos. Okay, now. So we now go to the responses adopted by the relevant government agencies and so far as combating cybercrime and cyber-related cases during the COVID-19 lockdown period. So ano po yung mga government responses? First, we have yung continuing cybercrime operations. Kahit naman po nagkaroon ng pandemic and lockdown, kumikilos pa rin po ang ating mga law enforcement agencies such as yung NBI, yung PNP, yung office po namin in order to combat cybercrimes and arrest cybercriminals. Number two, so taking into consideration the physical limitation due to the imposed community quarantines, yung ating mga law enforcement agencies po at saka yung mga ibang agencies sa government, we are maximizing the use of information and communication technology in reaching out to the public. Ang example po nito, increased online presence, yung pagpapalabas po ng different government agencies ng mga public advisories. Another example po nito, yung PNP National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group po, nag-launch po sila nung tinatawag nating e-complaint desk wherein by visiting their website po, you can file your complaint online using po yung e-complaint desk nila. Okay? Another government response is yung strengthening of interagency collaboration. There is strengthening of interagency collaboration, especially when it comes to intelligence sharing po. For example po, the Office of Cybercrime, we are giving assistance to PICAC saka yung sa PNP WCPC in cases of yung online child exploitation cases by providing investigative leads on mga investigative leads po. Kasi yung Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime po, kami rin po yung 24/7 point of contact ng National Children for Exploited and Missing Children. And sila po yung nagre-report ng mga instances po ng or sila po yung mga nagpo-provide ng report instances po ng online child exploitation cases. And kami po yung nagbibigay ng mga report po na ito bilang 24/7 contact. Kami po yung nag-i-inform po sa mga law enforcement agencies dito sa Pilipinas. Ayan po. So number 4, another government response is fostering international cooperation. During the pandemic, there are various consultations with foreign counterparts na kinandak in relation to, for example, online hearings, electronic inquests, common criminal typologies during the pandemic. And dito po sa mga consultations with foreign counterparts, nagkakaroon po ng sharing between best practices na ginagawa po nila. So, share po rin ng Philippines yung mga best practices dito. And both the foreign government agencies at yung government agencies po dito sa Pilipinas, they are learning from each other. So now we go to the 5th government response. Likewise, the law enforcement agencies and other members of the criminal justice systems keeps abreast of the global landscape and response to cybercrime threats during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this enables our law enforcement authorities to have a gist of what's going on and what is being done globally in order to mitigate the threat online or in line with the international best practices. In relation din po to sa number 4. So lastly, yung raising of public awareness. The government is very active in raising public awareness. For instance, yung office po namin, the Office of Cybercrime, issued different public advisories. Yung, for example, yung public advisories regarding the conduct of online classes, public advisory on online sexual exploitation of children, public advisories regarding fake news or misinformation, public advisories on online safety of children from harmful content, public advisories regarding the harassment from online lending companies, public advisories regarding yung sa malicious tagging on Facebook, and public advisory on phishing. I-discuss ko po yung for the lack of time, magdi-discuss lang po ako ng dalawang public advisory na issue ng office namin. Yung public advisory regarding harassment committed by online lending companies and public advisory on phishing. So now we go to a public advisory on lending companies, on online lending companies. In summary po, the said public advisory enumerated the following. First, what are the acts that would qualify as unfair debt collection practices and cyber harassment? So, if familiar naman kayo, yung mga umuutang po sa ibang online lending companies, pag hindi po sila nakakabayad, nagkakaroon po ng may ginagawa po silang unfair debt collection. For example, yung pinapahiya po yung nangutang, pinupost po nila sa Facebook, pinupost po yung mga personal information ng nangutang. Tapos, kumisan, meron pa nga pong threat eh. Second, yung public advisory enumerated yung relevant laws, rules, and regulations in determining the appropriate cases one may file against an erring online lending company. And last but not the least, the said public advisory also enumerated the appropriate government agencies where actions against the OLCs may be filed. So itong advisory na to, in-issue po ng DOJ Office of Cybercrime due to the increasing number of reports received and endorsed involving unfair debt collection practices and cyber harassments committed by online lending companies. Ito po pala ay in-issue ng DOJ OOC noong April 23, and then pwede pong ma-view itong public advisory na to sa aming Facebook page and sa website po ng Office of Cybercrime. So, let's have a discussion yung sa public advisory. So, ano yung mga acts na ginagawa ng mga online lending companies or yung mga acts which constitutes unfair debt collection? Number one, yung unauthorized access of complainants mobile phone book, directory, or contact. Normally po, ang ginagawa ng yung ibang mga online lending companies, kasi ma-access mo sila through yung application, and then pag install po nung application nung online lending companies, mag-ask po na kailangan mo i-authorize yung application nila na i-access yung mobile phone book mo. For legitimate purpose po, okay lang po 'yon. Pero pag ginamit na siya for unlawful purposes, na-access na po nila yung right nila. So, ang nangyayari, yung pag-access nila and yung pagsisend ng messages dun ng utang dun sa mga contacts po niya, pag hindi po siya nakapagbayad, magkakaroon po ng violation for illegal access, because yung pag-access na yun at yung pagsisend po ng messages dun sa mga sa phone book contacts po nung nangutang, it would constitute illegal access under RA 10175. So, where should you file? Itong where to file pala, i-discuss ko to later na lang kasi same lang naman to dito sa different acts complained of. So, let's go do sa other acts complained of regarding online companies. Second, yung the use of threat or violence or other means to harm the physical person, reputation, or property of any person. Ito nga po yung pag hindi nakabayad po yung nangutang, papadalan po nila ng message, tatakutin po nila na pag hindi ka nagbayad, possible na saktan ka namin or and the likes, or gusto mo pa ipopost ka namin sa Facebook or sa iba, may message namin yung kakilala mo. So may pananakot or may threat ng violence. So ano yung laws na violated po dito sa conduct ng online lending companies na ito? So they may have violated grave or light threats, grave or light coercions, or unjust vexation under the revised penal code as the case may be in relation to section 6 of RA 10175. Also, another acts na normally kinocomplain regarding or against online lending companies is the use of obscenities, insults, or profane languages, the natural consequence of which is to abuse the borrower and publishing the same online. So ito nga yung pagsisend din ng message na minumura yung oy, parang yung iba ginamit pang magnanakaw or basta kung ano po, o kaya may mura yung yung mura na PI or any other na mura po. Tapos yun po, pinupost din nila yung yung information ng borrower. So, where to file yung unfair debt collection ng online lending companies or yung mga acts complaint of. First, if the identity of the offender is known and kumpleto naman po sa evidence, tulad po ng sinabi namin kanina, as advised sa Public Advisory Opinion Number 1, Series of 2018 DOJ Office of Cybercrime, pwede pong diretsong mag-file sa Office of the Prosecutor where the offense or any of its elements is committed, where any part of the computer system used is situated, or where any of the damage caused to a natural or juridical person took place. However po, if the identity of the offender is unknown, yung complaint po natin should be filed before NBI Cybercrime Division or PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group because kakailanganin po ng investigation and for the purpose na yung pag-a-apply po ng mga procedural tools na discuss ko po kanina. Okay. So now, ito, mayroon pa pong ibang acts complaint of. Yung pang-apat po, yung malicious disclosure or publication of names and other personal information or sensitive personal information of borrowers who allegedly refuses to pay. So yung disclosure po yun, pwede po siyang yung possible na loss violated is illegal access din po under RA 1175 or possible din po na may violation ng RA 10173 or yung Data Privacy Act. So for the violation po ng yung malicious disclosure or yung pagpupost po ng personal information ng utang sa Facebook or any other sites or kung saan man po, yung complaint po should be filed with the National Privacy Commission. So, another complaint act po yung contacting the persons in the borrower's contact list other than those who were named as guarantors or co-makers. So, yung pagko-contact po doon sa yung mga contact nung nangutang, ang mga pwede pong loss violated is yung unauthorized processing of personal information and sensitive personal information and processing of personal information and sensitive personal information for unauthorized purposes or in short po, for violation po ng RA 10173 or yung Data Privacy Act. And saan po mag-file? Tulad po nung naunang yung malicious disclosure po or publication of names sa NPC din po. So, as a note po, yung complaints for the above mentioned actions, they can be filed simultaneously. So pag lahat po yun, for example po may unauthorized access, may use of threat, use of obscenities, at the same time may mga disclosure po ng mga personal information, lahat po sila pwedeng pagsabay-sabay na i-file. So another thing to note po, if the complaints is committed by a corporation, online lending companies, hindi ng mga private na mga nagpapautang, a complaint may also be filed simultaneously before the SEC or yung Security and Exchange Commission pursuant sa nilabas po nila na Memorandum Circular number 18 series of 2019. Now, we are done with the public advisory on online lending companies. We go now po sa public advisory on phishing. Phishing is smishing in relation to online banking. So what is phishing, vishing, and smishing? It is a form of cybercrime in which the perpetrator poses as a legitimate institution such as bank, online payment site, or online commerce site, and then they devises a message through electronic mail, phone call, or text message respectively. The objective thereof is to lure individuals into providing sensitive data such as personally identifiable information, banking and credit card details, and usernames and passwords. In short po, sa type po ng cybercrime na to, phishing, vishing, and smishing, may tao po nagpapanggap na part siya ng bangko or agent po siya ng bangko, and then kinokontak niya po yung victim through email. Pag email po, ayun po yung tinatawag nating phishing. Pag through phone call naman po yung pag-contact niya, it is called phishing. And if it's through text message, it is called smishing. Ang ang purpose po ng ano nila, ng pag-contact nila ay para po makapagtanong ng mga personal informations. Normally po nangyayari ito, tinatawagan po nila yung tao, and then tinatanong po, sa papakilala sila na they are part of the bank. Hihingi po nila, to confirm lang po, pwede po bang banggitin yung pangalan nyo? Can you give us your birthday? Tapos, diyan na po papasok, sabihin po nila na dahil nag-a-update po ng ng system, may inaayos po. Tapos hingin na rin po nila yung OTP or one-time password. And then yung victim po, after giving those personal informations, normally within the day, minsan nga po within few minutes lang, pag chinek nung victim yung kanyang bank account or yung kanyang mga account sa ibang mga payment facilities, ubos na po yung pera nila. So now, we go to the red flags ng phishing. Phishing is smishing. Because in this form of cybercrime, it is very often that the perpetrators convince and deceive victims that the latter's immediate action is required. So yung sa number 1, makaka-receive ka ng email, text message, or phone call. And then may ginagamit na lines or scripts yung perpetrator into tricking the victims into acting in their instructions. Usually there is an urgency involved. For example, merong recent na system upgrade or a threat of account suspension that requires the victim to click the link provided in the email in order to unlock or reactivate their accounts kasi tinakot na suspended yung account nila. However, clicking the provided link in the email, it will redirect the victim to a dummy or fake website. Dito sa fake website nito, the victims will be asked to log in. So, i-input niya ng victim yung login credentials niya, yung username and password. And potentially, possible din na then kailangan din na ilagay yung credit card information lang or other similar data. And once such sensitive information is obtained from the victim, the perpetrator will now access the victim's account to perform illegal or fraudulent transactions. So, pag ibang account po yan, pag meron ng information or meron ng access yung perpetrator, ililipat na po nila yung laman ng inyong bank account or laman ng yung mga ibang financial websites. So, here are some yung mga commonly lines or scripts commonly used by phishers. Yung nga po, normal na lumalabas sa mga email na meron po mga ganitong word, we temporarily lock your account in order to protect you from potential fraud. And if you wish to unlock your account and transacting again, you need to click the link. Ganun po. O kaya, this is to inform you that some data from your account seems inaccurate or unverified. So for your protection, kailangan mo daw mag-fill out uli ng form na given na doon sa given link nila and verify the necessary fields. Yun. So ano po yung mga red flag na another red flag na kailangan nating bantayan? Normally, the email, text message, or phone call ask for personal information. We should always remember na banks and other financial institutions will only ask for this information during the sign-up or opening of accounts. Never po mag-ask yung bank ng ating mga personal information sa through calls or emails. So, pag naka-receive po kayo ng ganitong klaseng email na nag-ask for your personal information or tawag, it's better po na pumunta na lang po kayo sa inyong main branch to confirm with the banks kung ano ba talaga, kailangan nyo ba mag-update ng information and the likes. So another red flag, yung email po, usually it is badly written. Normally, meron pong marami pong grammatical errors and wrong spellings yung email. Likewise, pag naka-receive po tayo ng email, kindly hover po yung mouse pointer dun sa link kasi possible na For example, yung nakalagay po doon sa link na nakikita natin, www.abc.com, pero pag itinuro mo po yung may mouse pointer doon sa link, may mag-a-appear po na link na imbis na www.abc.com, ang nakalagay po doon www.1234.com. So, ibig sabihin, hindi kayo sa www.abc.com mapupunta pag clinic nyo yung link, bagkus mapupunta po sa www.1234.com. Okay? Another red flag po, last but not the least, is that yung email usually comes from unknown or slightly different email than usual. For example po, kunyari ang website po ng BDO is bdo.com. Kunyari po may nagpanggap na agent ng BDO, makaka-receive po kayo dapat ang email nyo, kunyari kung ang official email, ang official website ng BDO is bdo.com. Normally po, ang email po na ma-receive nyo pag nanggaling talaga sa BDO is for example, abc@bdo.com dapat. So pag naka-receive po kayo ng email na abc-bdo@yahoo.com or at gmail.com, ano po yun? Dapat red flag yun na most likely yung nag-email po sa inyo, fisher po yun. So now, let's go to the practical tips in order to avoid phishing. First, you should ignore any suspicious emails, text messages, or calls. So if you receive suspicious emails, we should immediately mark the emails as spam, and we should block the email that sent the message. So pag call naman po or text message, pag suspicious po siya, it's better to block the number. Moreover po, we should avoid opening or clicking any links and downloading any attachments from suspicious and unverified senders. It is also advisable to contact your bank immediately and check the authenticity of the email, message, or call. So, tip lang po, hindi naman po related sa phishing in relation to online banking. Pag may mga na-receive po tayo na link na tingin natin galing po sa kaibigan natin, it's better po na instead of clicking the link, ang gawin po natin, mag-open tayo ng browser, i-manual type po natin yung link. Kasi possible nga po na may nakamask yung link na although nakikita natin abc.com, papunta pala siya sa 1234.com. So, it's best na instead of clicking yung link, i-type na lang natin manually. Okay? Another practical tip to avoid phishing is to download and use only the official apps of your banks. So dapat i-download lang po natin sila through the official website of the banks or through Google Play and Apple Play Store. So another practical tip is yung tinatawag natin multi-factor authentication, which makes it harder for scammers to log into your account even if they do get your username and password. Ito po yung yung mga OTP na, for example, magla-login ka sa inyong online banking account. After you input your username and password, yung system po ng online banking institution or ng bank, magpapadala po sila ng OTP or one-time password sa inyong phone through your number or to your email. And yung number po na yon, yung tinatawag nating one-time password, kailangan din po natin i-input yon para maka-login po tayo. Okay? Number 4, never share your OTP to anyone. Remember po, banks and financial institution and their agents will never ask for your OTP. Ang OTP po nyo, dapat kayo lang nakakaalam yon. So, pag may na-receive po kayo na email, text, or message, or call na natatanong ng OTP nyo, wag nyo pong ibibigay. So, number 6, avoid divulging sensitive and personal information. So, you should avoid divulging yung information po nyo to anyone that you do not know through text messages, or calls. Do not even share sensitive information such as your password and login credentials to someone you know. Kahit yung mga kilala po natin, wag po natin i-share yung password and login credentials natin. Kasi possible na pag nag-away kayo, may pakialaman niya na yung account nyo. So, ano po, kung hindi naman maiwasan na i-share natin yung password natin and login credentials kasi hindi natin ma-access yung email natin, pagkatapos po natin ibigay sa kakilala natin, pagkakatiwalaan natin, after po natin, pag nagkaroon na po tayo ng access dun sa email, sa internet, palitan po natin kaagad yung ating password and login credentials. Okay, number 7. Avoid online transactions while inside internet cafes or by using shared computers. As much as possible po, when you do online banking, online payment, and other online transaction, dapat ginagamit po natin yung personal devices natin and we should be using our own internet connection. Kasi delikado po na mag-transact online if you're using public Wi-Fi. Kasi possible po na may intercept yung username and credentials nyo. And then possible na kumonek po tayo mga free Wi-Fi, hindi natin alam, kumbaga clean lang po ng hacker yung connection na yun. So instead of directly connecting do sa free public Wi-Fi, dumadaan muna tayo kay hacker. So anything that we input po sa ating keyboard, such as yung username password, makukuha po nila yun. So, pero ano po, pag there are times that we cannot avoid yung opening our accounts sa internet cafes or make sure to properly log out from the site after the transaction, and you should clear yung browser history and browser cache nung browser na ginamit nyo. And also, pagdating nyo ng bahay or meron na kayo sariling connection, if you can use your personal device or in your personal internet connection, immediately po change your password. Okay, number 8, you should install security software on your computer para ma-avoid po yung meron po tayong protection against viruses and hackings. So, dapat number 9, update din po tayo regularly ng ating mga antivirus at i-update din po natin regularly yung mga mobile phone applications, yung mga mobile banking, online payment, and online store apps application. Kasi wala pong perfect na software or application. So possible na may bug yan. So every time na madidiscover ng developer or ng may-ari po ng application na may yung mga bug na yon, nag-release po sila ng update in order to patch up yung mga vulnerabilities. So always make it a hobby na i-update po natin yung mga ating mga softwares and applications. Okay, number 10. Last tip in order to avoid phishing, make it a habit to scrutinize and validate the website address before entering any login credentials and personal information. So make sure na i-check niyo yung URL na nasa browser. Dapat makita nyo na secure siya. Yung katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, dapat may makita kayong HTTPS. Ayun po yung indicator na meron tayong secure access do sa site. Okay, also, yung nga po, instead of clicking the embedded links sa emails you receive, it would be better if you would manually type yung address sa browser. Ayan. So, now, medyo malapit na po tayo matapos. As a general tip for a safer online experience, sa ating mga online experience, hindi lang po doon sa mga nabanggit ko kanina, it can be summarized into 2. First, always be vigilant. Dapat po tayo, kung may vigilant tayo lagi sa ating mga online transaction, pag may nakita tayong kahina-hinala or may mga red flags, kung ano man yun po, madali lang naman po pwede tayong mag-search sa Google or pag gusto niyo po talaga malaman na kung possible scam yun, you can email po or you can ask our law enforcement authorities or yung office po namin kung possible scam ba yun. And number 2, in relation po sa first tip, DYOR. Kung may mga nagki-cryptocurrency po dito, familiar po sila sa term na DYOR. Ang ibig po sabihin ng DYOR na to is do your own research. So, hindi po lahat na nakikita natin online, true po yun. So, it's best na mag-research po tayo kung tunay ba talaga yung mga nakikita natin online in order to be safe. So, remember po, always be vigilant and sure, do your own research. And ito po, I'll be sharing itong website na to. Pwede nyo po ma-check sa haveibeenpawned.com if your account have been compromised in the data breach. So, kailangan nyo lang po i-input dyan yung yung email address nyo, and then click nyo yung button na pawn, and lalabas po dyan kung yung account nyo, kasama po yan sa mga tinatawag nating data leaks. For example, yung email address nyo, abc.com, pag nilagay nyo po siya dyan, ay abc@abc.com, tapos click nyo yung pawn. So, pag may mga website po kayo na ginamit yung email na yun for registration, lalabas din po sa result kung yung for that certain website, may data leak kayo. Yan po. So, hindi lang yung email address nyo, pati yung mga website kung saan nyo ginamit yung email address na yun for registration. Okay? So, what should you do when you are victimized or may nakumit po na cybercrime against you? Of course, as soon as possible po, you should file a report or complaint sa ating mga law enforcement agencies. So, where should you file your report for investigation? First, you should file your report either to sa PNP National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group. Ang main office po nila nasa Camp Crame. Ang email address nila is info@acg.pnp.gov.ph or pnp.anticybercrimegroup@gmail.com. And then nakasulat din po dito yung mga complaint action center nila at saka hotline nila. And pwede niyo po i-visit yung website nila. Tapos nandito rin po yung link ng e-complaint ng PNP ACG. Ang maganda po sa PNP ACG, meron po silang mga tinatawag na Regional Anti-Cybercrime Unit. So, if it's not possible na makapunta kay Camp Crame, meron po silang Regional Anti-Cybercrime Unit per region na makikita nyo rin po sa kanilang website kung saan po yung location at ano po yung contact information ng bawat regional unit nila. And next, you can file your complaint sa National Bureau of Investigation, Cybercrime Division. Currently po, they are located sa 5th floor, VTech Tower, Gregorio Araneta Avenue, corner Marie Clara Street, Santo Domingo, Quezon City. Kasi normally po, ang alam nila kasi pag NBI, located sa Taft Avenue sa Manila. Pero currently po kasi under renovation po yung most of offices doon. So yung Cybercrime Division po is sa mga office na nalipat muna pansamantala habang ginagawa yung renovation sa VTech Tower. So ang email po nila is ccd@nbi.gov.ph, and plus din po dito yung contact number nila sa website. And for legal advice naman po, ang common misconception po kasi ng mga tao, normally, ang alam po nila yung Office of Cybercrime sa DOJ, office po namin, is a law enforcement agencies. However po, under Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, as discussed kanina, kami po yung central authority in all matters relating to mutual international cooperation and extradition. So, ang law enforcement agencies lang po at saka authorities under yung sa Cybercrime Prevention Act, yung PNP Cybercrime Division and NBI Cybercrime Division. So ano po, yung when it comes to yung investigation di sa local, ang nag-handle po talaga noon is law enforcement agencies, yung PNP sa NBI. But pag lumapit po kayo sa office namin, we can give legal advice naman. Yan po. Maraming salamat po, and that ends my presentation.
All right, so thank you so much, Attorney Sosa. So, all right, so a very good presentation po. I hope from our participants. Now we learned a lot from our speaker. I hope we'll be protected no from any cyber attack. So ngayon po I think we should have a 5-minute break muna so that Attorney Sosa before pa tayo pupunta sa Q&A sa Q&A portion. So let's have a 5-minute break. You can
Ma'am, actually kung gusto po nilang mag-proceed ng agad sa okay lang po sa akin.
Okay.
Pero kung po, sa bagay po, sige okay lang po na 5-minute break pala kasi medyo mahirap din pala na tuloy-tuloy kasi para makapag-CR break yung
Yes
mga
po.
nakikinig and to drink water.
Yes po.
See you in 5 minutes po. Inom na rin din po ako ng water. Sige, thank you.
Alright, thank you sir. Thank you, Attorney. Alright po, so we'll be back after 5 minutes. Inom na po sila ng tubig or CR break po. Ayan, see you after 5 minutes.
Kasabuhay ng Nestle ang mga magkakape para
Alright, so we're back. Ayan, so at this point, we will proceed po sa ating question and answer portion. So I think we picked 3 questions from our participants. So sige, so ayan po, Attorney Sosa. So for our first question, sir, is the use of computer or cell phone to activate a bomb or act of terrorism punishable under RA 10175? In connection with first question, can the accused be charged under RA 10175 aside from violation of the Anti-Terrorism Act? No
Hello.
audio po, sir. Ayan.
Hello. Ma'am, to answer the question of Miss Ermina Bautista, as discussed a while ago, for crimes punishable under other special laws or the revised penal code, if such a crime or act is committed by or with or through the use of ICTs, pwede po siya pumasok ng section 6 ng RA 10175. So ang mangyayari po doon, yung punishable acts, ang pag final po yung case, for example yung yung sa Anti-Terrorism Act, ang mangyayari lang po in relation to section 6 of RA 10175. And as such po, pag ginawa pong ganun yung kaso, pinasok sa section 6, magiging available na po yung procedural tools na diniscuss ko kanina. So in short po, pwede na pong mag-apply yung ating mga law enforcement agencies for cybercrime warrants, yung sa warrant to disclose, in relation po dun sa computer or cellphone na ginamit sa pag-activate ng bomb. Yan po. I hope na answer ko po yung question nyo.
Alright, thank you, sir. So, sige, next. And so for the second question po, wala po bang case na illegal private data dissemination kagaya ng pag-share ng private text or images po sa public? Example given, ID picture, bank application screenshot, private message or email screenshot, private non-pornographic video, etc. Cyber libel din po ba pa rin ang case kapag may nag-post ng degrading public info sa iyo sa public medium gaya ng social media?
Okay, maraming question to. Yung as to the first question, kung may case ba na illegal private data dissemination, wala pong, there's no such case, pero possible po na mayroon violation ng Data Privacy Act of 2000, Data Privacy Act po. So in such case na mayroon pong dinivulge ng mga private data, masalo kung ano po to, yung mga tinatawag natin mga personally identifiable information, pwede po tayong mag-file ng complaint sa National Privacy Commission. Ayun po. Regarding naman sa pag-share ng mga private text or messages, private messages, email screenshot, yun nga po, possible din po na may violation ng Data Privacy Act. And in such case po, ang government agency po na mandated to handle yung for complaint yung regarding sa violation of privacy is yung National Privacy Commission po. And last question, cyber libel din po ba ang case pag may nag-post po ng degrading public info sa iyo sa public medium gaya ng social media? Basta ano po, any libelous statement when it is posted through social medias, kasi ano po siya ang mangyayari doon, libelous statement siya, so libel na siya, and by posting such libel statements sa social media, it is committed by, through, or with the use of ICT, so papasok po siya ng cyber libel. And in cases naman po na na yung statement, kung sakali mang hindi siya pumasok sa cyber libel upon the conduct nung proceeding sa preliminary investigation sa piskalya po, kung hindi man pumasok ng cyber libel, pwede po siya ma-downgrade as unjust vexation. Okay po. I hope na sagot ko po yung tanong nyo.
Ayan. So, thank you. Last question, attorney, maaari niyo po bang klaruhin ulit kung kailan pwede
ng kaso sa National Prosecution Service o sa ating mga piskalya, pag yung yung identity po nung nag-commit tong cybercrime, and sa tingin po natin, kumpleto na po tayo ng ebidensya. So, wala na pong gagawin hindi kumbaga kumpleto na yung kasi meron na tayong identity, meron na tayong evidence. So, may magkakaroon na parang pwedeng sufficient basis yung ating National Prosecution Service o yung Piskalya para maka-arrive kung meron bang probable cause or kung pwede na ba siyang i-file sa court. So, pag naman po, hindi natin yung kaso po, hindi natin alam yung kung sino ba yung nag-commit talaga. For example, hacking. Wala tayong hindi natin kilala kung sino yung hacker. So doon po necessary na kailangan muna dumaan sa PNP or hindi lang po sa PNP or kaya sa NBI, in short sa ating mga law enforcement agencies, kasi kailangan po mag-conduct ng investigation muna para malaman po natin yung identity ng cybercriminal. So yun lang po yung kumbaga short rule doon. Pag meron tayong identity nung cybercriminal at kumpleto evidence natin, pwede nang directly with National Prosecution Service. Pero pag meron pa pong kailangan mga data or evidence, kasi pag ganun pong pagkakataon, kailangan pa mag-conduct ng investigation, kailangan po dumaan ng PNP saka ng NBI kasi sila po yung magkakandak ng investigation. Yan po. Hopefully, na clear po.
Alright, so thank you so much, attorney, for answering po the questions of our participants. So at this point po, ayan, so nababasa din natin sa comment box, no? Yung pasasalamat ng ating mga participants, ang dami raw nilang natutunan. Ayan, so at this point, we would like to present din our appreciation to our speakers. So allow me to read the citation. Department of Information and Communications Technology, Certificate of Appreciation is hereby presented to Attorney Gerald Vincent Sosa for sharing his insight and expertise as a resource person during the cybercrime protection and its laws. Given this 26th day of October 2021, signed by Regional Director Maria Teresa M. Camba. Once again, sir, maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din po.
Ayan, so dyan lang po muna kayo, sir, attorney, no? Magpo-photo
Sure po,
tayo after ng ating closing remarks. Okay, so at this point, to give us a closing message, let us hear from the Division Chief of Technical Operations Division of the ICT Mindanao Cluster 1, Mr. Jacob F. Mohammed.
Hi, thank you, Wendy.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Kagagaling ko lang din sa isang meeting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we end today's online training on cybercrime, protection and its laws, I would like to thank you all for joining and actively participating. Your presence for the entire duration of this training shows your strong commitment to work towards attaining the Philippine government goal and its objectives through the ICT. Well, the current global health crisis, or simply the COVID-19, has really put the world into its knees, with no options but making the world digital. Okay. Of course, amidst the challenges and changes, we have seen how information and communication technologies became more and more relevant. We were able to continue with our functions, with our educations virtually, and mga meetings natin virtual na. Of course, a lot of new technologies that are coming out, and most companies, businesses, and individuals are now transacting online. But with more sophisticated technology came, of course, more sophisticated cyber attacks then. Fraudsters started to carry out their criminal activity and have taken advantage of the situations. Attacks are happening across all industries. Devices are growing and data is also growing. I just want to share to you yung a jaw-dropping was this statistics. IoT devices market will reach 1.1 trillion by 2026. So isipin mo yan. and global data sphere will reach 175 zettabytes by 2025. So, alam nyo ba na there are 240,000 passwords, stolen passwords each day na nangyayari, no? Yung ano natin, yung malware has increased to 358% in just 2020. So, can you just imagine, no? And out of these breaches, no, 35% of the data breaches in 2020, gumagamit na sila ng mga bagong techniques, no? Don't you know that a single breach can have huge consequences for a company, hurting the bottom line and causing disruption in the daily lives of millions of people. So that is why, you know, the DICT, through the Cybersecurity Bureau and the Data Privacy Commission, is really working relentlessly just to make sure that we will have a cyber-safe experience. It is good that nagkaroon tayo ng webinar tulad nito, no? Nung sinabi to sa akin ni Michael, Mike, sabi ko, go na yan, no? Cybercrime and its lows, cybersecurity, cybercrime and its lows, no? So I was able also to hear attorney, no, answering the questions. So it is really very important na magtulungan tayo in really advocating, no, yung promoting cybersecurity. That is why yung DICT, just recently we were able to I am pleased to inform everyone that we have already established the local computer emergency response team. Sa Zamboanga City pa lang yun, and hopefully in other areas as well. The formation of our local CERT is geared towards addressing yung urgent cybersecurity issues and that may be encountered by the organization in the region. So as you can see, based on sa mga lectures, no, the demand for security professionals continue to grow. So let us get on board and develop our understanding on cybercrime. Ito na nga, nagsimula na tayo, no? Cybersecurity, security principles, technologies, and of course procedures used to defend our networks and ourselves. So let us help our youngs, our students, no, to find their calling in cybersecurity. It is really a noble endeavor. Let's make the cyberspace safe, a safe place for everyone. And with your help, magagawa natin yun. So with this, I would like to express my sincerest gratitude to our competent and experienced speakers, sina Attorney Gerald Vincent Sosa, si Police Master Sergeant Marisa M. Pili, for sharing their knowledge and expertise to our participants via Zoom, and meron ba tayong Facebook, ano? I would like also to thank our webinar team, no, headed by Sir Rod. Yung focal natin for cybersecurity, si Mike Jolo, maski na naka-assign siya dyan sa Basilan, but yung heart niya, no, nandyan din sa cybersecurity. Okay, and as well as yung team, no, sina Wendy and all the rest, hindi ko na ma-mention kayo lahat. And again, no, thank you all, and I look forward to continuing beyond this training. Once again, muchas gracias a todos. Back to you, Wendy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Jacob. Ayan po, let's have a photo op, Sir Jacob. Attorney Sosa, Sir Michael, Sir Rod. Ayan po. Alright. So, one moment. Okay po, so ready na. Tingin po tayo sa camera. In 3, 2, 1, smile. Alright, so okay na po. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Attorney. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Ayan po, so at this point, we would like to hear naman from our participants. Please share your most important takeaway for today's session. And please go to www.menti.com, enter the code 5471-7440. Ayun po, please share naman kung yung mga highlight or takeaway po na natutunan nila from this session. So we would like to hear from you, from our participants. And so let us read. So important takeaways, mga laws governing cybercrimes. Ayan, so about what is cyber law is all about. Alright, so nagkaroon lang tayo ng technical difficulty doon. But thank you so much sa lahat na nag-participant sa ating Menti. Ayan, so mababasa namin yun later on. So at this point, gusto niyo bang manalo ng 100 peso load card? We have 3 winners para sa hapong ito. 100 peso load card. So, ayan, ready na ang ating wheel of names. So, let's spin the wheel for our first winner. And po, so congratulations to Sir Benson Chilagan. Sige, next winner. And congratulations to Sir Raymond Bo. For our last winner, congratulations to Sir Romart Ampis. Ayan po, so sa lahat ng winners natin, let's just wait for an email. We will send you the load card pins. So yun po, reminders, issuance of certificates. Participants must attend 100% of the webinar session. Participants must accomplish the daily evaluation form after every session and pass the post-evaluation at the end of the 6-hour session. An e-certificate of participation will be issued to all participants who will be able to comply with the training requirements, and evaluation link will be provided after every session. So for our post-evaluation for today, ayan po, so already flashed on your screen. Please answer this po if make time to answer until 12 midnight. So again po, yung mga nagtatanong ng evaluation link natin kahapon, close na po iyon. We remind everyone kahapon na until 12 midnight lang siya open. So for this afternoon, for this session, so please make time to answer this. So word of the day is Security. Again, word of the day is security. And also po, sa mga nagtatanong ng certificates nila, please expect certificates within 2 weeks after this webinar. So, that's it. Again, please make time to answer the evaluation form. Kung pwede ngayon, sagutin na po natin ngayon, okay? Para hindi natin makalimutan. So, again, open until 12 midnight only. So, thank you so much for joining us. Ayan, so keep safe po and see you sa next webinar natin. So, don't forget to like our page, the ICT Mindanao Cluster 1. Ayan, so see you po around. Bye-bye.